The North Father's back. What George Custer didn't realize was the Indian nation was bigger than he ever thought. Where he thought he sized up the whole camp, he only sized up half of it. It was still much more, much more. And he's about to find that out right now. And that's the shame of it all, because American intelligence was supposed to have his back. And they didn't.
This is not the end of the village. This is the hill.
It was a whole lot more to go. And when they realized that, and they went down that hill, they had to make it up, back up that hill and be beyond. And the Indians was in place. Their wives was in place to take them apart. Now, why would America send General Custer into a battle and he took their word? Listen, they have this many. He said, okay. So he was prepared to battle the numbers that they told him that was waiting for him. Nah, it was much more. Look at these women having a field day, robbing the bodies, mutilating the bodies, disfiguring their faces so they can't be identified. That Custer thing was real. But like I said, it all goes down to the Black Hills, because there was so much money in them hills. Had Custer lived and took charge of what was going on in the Black Hills, America would have had to go by his word. They'd have had to play by the beat of his drum. He would have been in charge of them hills. And he'd have been the wealthiest man ever, perhaps, because he'd have made sure he was good. In my opinion, and I'm not accusing anybody, this is my opinion, the Americans sacrificed Custer as a reason to take control of them Black Hills, because the gold was the Indians, but the Indians really didn't know what they had in them hills. The Americans knew. So they was trying to get rid of the Indians so they could have what was going on in there. The Indians wouldn't relinquish their rights to them hills. So they had to find a way. Listen, we got to find a way to get in them hills. They could have took it by force, but instead of taking it by force, people getting scalped and everything. Instead of taking it by force, they needed a plan. Once they sacrificed Custer and the Indians got the complete blame for Custer losing his life, now they can go all up in them hills, remove them how they removed them, by force, whatever, by death. They could get up in there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens. That's what happens. So in my opinion, the Americans sacrificed George Custer so they could get that gold. And once Custer was out the way, then that's when they got up in them hills and did what they did. Got all the riches. Because like I said, Custer was getting all of that for himself. But instead, death became him. Yes, it did. These Indians was not playing. Even they fell into the trap. Because when it was all said and done, the Indians, you see these tribes here, the Indians didn't go after him. Everybody knew to go after Custer, the man with the yellow hair. Everybody knew he was so surrounded. Like, you know what I'm saying? North, south, east, west. All the Indians gravitated to where Custer was at. And they made sure they got rid of him. Now this man right here, Colonel Bettine, he had beef with Custer. So they giving him the note to help Custer out. He said, nah. he was supposed to stay back until help came. They act like they didn't know what was happening. They knew what was happening. But when shock turned into reality, General George Custer laid in them fields, lifeless, dead. And what the women did to him was they bust his eardrums, they poked his eardrums so they busted. The word has it that even in death, they wanted him to hear their cries. It's definitely real.
The women, they punctured his ears with their sewing awls. They did this so that he would hear better. He had promised never again to make war on the Cheyennes, and we had promised his death if he did. He forgot his promise. He did not remember our words. In the next life, he should hear us better.
General George Custer, who was a future president, the future best president. George Washington, he was the future. He would have been a great wartime president like George Washington. He'd have been one of the richest men since Rockefeller. He was what would have epitomized white American history. In my opinion, was backdoored, set up, shut down by his own people for the riches, for the gold. What mostly would have been rightfully his became somebody else's or everybody else's or whoever's. Ain't no honor among thieves. Greed begets us all. For the love of money, you steal from your own mother and rob from your own brother. Do things, bad things, baby. And that's what happened to Custer. And the North Fathers out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell me what you think on this part of American history. I'm out. Peace.